Hello guys, welcome back to my Chanel Whispering Coffin. Today's story is Do Not Knock Back. I ignored the apartment rule. I wasn't supposed to be inside the ventilation tunnels. That's the first thing you need to understand. 3 months ago, I got hired to clean old industrial cooling systems in abandoned buildings before demolition crews tore them down. Easy money. Mostly empty warehouses, dead malls, shut down factories. Dust, rats, silence. Nothing supernatural. Until Building 14. Nobody called it haunted. Nobody warned me. That's what makes this worse. The building used to be a massive underground data storage facility somewhere outside Nevada. No signs. No logos. Half buried in desert sand like someone tried to erase it. My partner, Luis, refused to go inside after seeing the vents. I laughed at him. Bro, they're air ducts. He just stared at them and said, "Why do they breathe?" I thought he was joking. Then I heard it too. H. Not airflow. Breathing. Slow. Human. Wet. Coming from inside the walls. The supervisor told me the lower cooling tunnels still had residual pressure running through them and handed me a flashlight. Go check the central vent line. So I went alone. Worst decision of my life. The tunnels were huge, tall enough to crawl through on hands and knees. Metal walls covered in black dust. Every sound echoed forever. And the deeper I crawled, the warmer it got. Which made no sense. Cooling vents should have been freezing. Then I noticed something even stranger. Fingerprints. Thousands of them. Pressed into the dust inside the vents like people had been trapped in there, trying to claw their way forward. I kept moving. My flashlight started flickering. That's when I heard whispering ahead of me. Not echoes. Actual whispering. An old man's voice. Soft. Calm. Familiar. I froze. Because I recognized it immediately. My grandfather died when I was 11. But I knew his voice better than my own. He used to whisper bedtime stories when I stayed at his house. And now I heard him inside the vent saying, "Don't let them see your teeth." I couldn't breathe. I crawled faster toward the sound before my brain could stop me. The vent opened into a giant circular chamber filled with hanging wires and rotating fans that no longer worked. And there, under one flickering emergency light, was my grandfather. Same brown sweater. Same gray hair. Standing perfectly still beside a vent opening. My stomach dropped so hard I nearly threw up. Because he looked exactly like he did the week before he died. Not older. Not ghostly. Exact. Real. He slowly turned his head toward me. And smiled. Wrong. Too many teeth. Not sharp. Just too many. Like several mouths had been pushed together behind his lips. I backed away instantly. "Grandpa?" He didn't answer. Instead, he leaned toward the vent beside him. And started whispering into it. The whispers traveled through the metal tunnels around me. Suddenly every vent in the chamber started whispering back. Hundreds of voices. All using my grandfather's voice. He brought another one. The fans above me suddenly jerked to life. Screech. Hot air blasted through the chamber so hard it knocked me sideways. That's when I saw them inside the vents. Faces. Pressed behind the grates. Dozens. Moving with the airflow. Smiling. Watching me. And every single one had too many teeth. I started crawling back the way I came. Fast. Metal screamed around me as the vents began shaking violently. Something crawled behind me. Not crawling like a person. Faster. Spider fast. The entire vent trembled with metallic bangs getting closer and closer. Bang. 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 I looked back with my flashlight and saw my grandfather sprinting on all fours through the tunnel. His body bent the wrong direction. His jaw hanging open so wide it scraped the metal. I screamed and kicked backward as he rushed toward me impossibly fast. Then every vent around me started whispering the same sentence. Show him your teeth. The flashlight died. Complete darkness. But I could still hear him crawling closer. Scrape. 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 Right behind me. Then suddenly, silence. Absolute silence. I stopped moving. So did he. And in the darkness, right beside my ear, my grandfather whispered, "You smiled at the cameras." I had no idea what that meant. Until a red light turned on above me. A tiny security camera hidden inside the vent. Still recording. Even after all these years. Then the speakers crackled. A woman's voice calmly said, "Facial recognition accepted." The vents unlocked. All around me. Thousands of metal clicks echoed through the walls. And from deep inside the ventilation system, I heard people crawling. Not one. Hundreds. Coming toward me. Fast. I don't remember escaping. Luis found me outside at sunrise barefoot in the desert nearly 6 miles away. My fingernails were gone. The weirdest part? When I got home, I checked my backpack. Inside was an old employee badge covered in dust. The photo on the ID was my grandfather. Issue date. But my grandfather always told us he'd never been to Nevada in his life. I tried calling the demolition company the next day. The number no longer existed. The building no longer existed either. No records. No maps. Nothing. Like it had been deleted. But sometimes at night, when my apartment vents turn on, I hear whispering. And last week, I heard my own voice whisper back. I found a job on a weird website with no company name. Night audio tester needed. For $1,000 for one weekend. That should have been the first red flag. But I was broke. The instructions told me to arrive at an unfinished apartment complex outside the city at exactly 11:47 p.m. Not 11:45. Not midnight. 11:47. The building looked normal from outside. Inside felt wrong immediately. No echo. That's what scared me first. Every building echoes a little. This place absorbed sound like the walls were swallowing it. A woman in a gray uniform met me in the lobby. No name tag. She handed me headphones and said, "If you hear tapping from inside the walls, do not tap back." I laughed a little. She didn't. Then she added, "And if apartment 6 starts breathing, leave immediately." I should have walked out right there. Instead, I signed the contract. Big mistake. They took me to the 6th floor where every apartment door was painted completely black. No numbers. Except one. Apartment 6. Its door looked wet. The woman explained my job. I had to sit inside each apartment for 1 hour and document unusual sounds. That's it. Easy money. Apartment 1 was normal. Just distant humming. Apartment 2 had faint crying somewhere inside the ceiling. Apartment 3 whispered my name once even though I was alone. By apartment 5, I already wanted to quit. Because every room had the same strange feature. No vents. No windows that opened. No visible speakers. Yet the walls kept making tiny breathing noises. Like someone sleeping inside them. Then came apartment 6. The woman unlocked the door but wouldn't enter. Remember, she whispered, don't answer if the apartment asks questions. I thought she was messing with me. Then she shut the door behind me. The apartment was completely empty except for a chair facing the wall. Not the TV. Not the room. Just the wall. I sat down. The breathing started immediately. Slow. Deep. The wallpaper moved slightly with each breath. Then I noticed something horrifying. The breathing wasn't coming from behind the wall. It was coming from inside it. Like lungs were trapped in there. My headphones suddenly crackled. A child's voice whispered, "Is your skin still attached?" I ripped the headphones off instantly. The room went silent. Then, knock, knock, knock. From inside the wall. 3 knocks. I remembered the warning. Do not knock back. So I stayed frozen. Then the wall knocked again. Harder this time. Knock, knock, knock. And without thinking, I accidentally dropped my flashlight against the floor. 3 knocks. The room froze. Even the breathing stopped. Then the wall whispered, "Permission accepted." The wallpaper bulged outward. Something inside the wall started crawling toward me. You could actually see its shape moving beneath the wallpaper. Human-sized. Fast. I ran for the door. Locked. Of course. Behind me, the wall split open quietly like wet paper tearing apart. A hand reached out. But it wasn't human. Too many fingers. The skin looked painted on backward. Then another hand appeared. Then a face slowly pushed through the wall surface like someone forcing themselves through liquid. No eyes. Just a massive smiling mouth. And behind the teeth, more mouths opening and closing. The apartment lights shut off. Emergency red lights turned on instead. That's when the entire room began breathing with it. Floor. Ceiling. Walls. All inhaling together. I heard movement inside every wall around me. Not one creature. Multiple. The headphones turned back on by themselves. A calm male voice said, "Resident transfer beginning." Then the thing stepped fully out of the wall. It was wearing my clothes. Not similar clothes. My exact hoodie. My exact shoes. And when it smiled, it had my teeth. I started screaming and kicking the door. Finally it opened. I fell into the hallway. But the hallway wasn't the same anymore. All the apartment doors. Tell me which story I should do my next podcast on.